Walla Walla Show. We back in popular demand, y'all. And we got special guests in the building. Right, let me hold on. Let me click over so y'all can see who we have here. You know what I mean? We got my lovely niece.
Hey, hey, hey.
Yeah, I mean Sherelle and her husband. Yeah, I mean my brother from another mother, my man James. You know what I mean? And they got the they podcast. I Take Thee. You know, and it's on different. You know, they talk about different relationships and try to keep the black families married and together, and so we could take down this high divorce rate. So we're gonna bring, we're gonna talk to them about some things and let them, share what their podcast is about. So without further ado, yeah, like I said, Sherelle and James, yeah, I mean, the floor is yours. Talk to me, y'all.
What's up? This Jay.
And I'm Sherelle.
And our show is I Take Thee Marriage Podcast. Spreaker.com, all the places, most of the places you can get podcasts nowadays, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. And like my uncle said, it's just about, it's our real life. This is our real life testimonial, for lack of better words, of
marriage.
Of marriage. This is real time, two black people going through a marriage and trying to figure this thing out. We grew up like most people, broken homes, all that type of stuff. And, we just trying to change the dynamic. You understand what I'm saying? I've made mistakes. My wife has made mistakes. But we just want to correct those mistakes so that our children don't make the same mistakes. And like he said, just try to keep the black family together.
Yeah, and we got the idea about the podcast when we were going through our darkest moment. We thought it would be a good idea to express and let other people know that they're not going through this alone, that other people have gone through this. And I think that's a thing that happens in our community. Everything is so hushed. And then you kind of think like, I'm the only person going through this, but everybody probably didn't went through this and had these experiences, but nobody to ever talk to or hear how to handle these situations. And no, we're not experts and we're not perfect, but we just explain how we went through our hardship.
Right. Okay. So let me ask you a question.
Oh, man.
Yeah, no. It's like, no. Let me ask you a question. Like, so from where y'all, was, at in your dark place till now, I know it's every day is a work in progress.
Right.
You know what I mean? To get to where y'all want to be, and especially when you got kids involved and stuff like that. On y'all daily day-to-day like challenges, what do y'all? Let me see how can I put it. What do y'all find yourself like going through the most, or like to get over the hump, like?
Right. I think our biggest issue and that we try to work on daily is our communication.
Okay.
Communication is always big in the relationship, and especially in ours. So every day, even when we mad, we had an argument, just to still communicate inappropriately, not, you might have your argument where you yell and scream for a minute, but you got to come back and really discuss and hash out what the issues are, because if not, nothing's ever going to get solved, and it's going to layer and layer and layer until it explodes, and then it's like y'all like really outs on the outs.
I think for me it's communication, but it's more to focus on that comprehension and understanding. I think that one of the biggest things that I've learned so far is to really agree to disagree, but really try to understand her perspective. I don't have to agree with her perspective, and a lot of times I'm not. And a lot of times she's not going to agree with my perspective. But you still have to learn and understand where the person is coming from. And I mean, again, this is all based off of me being honest and her being honest. So I may say something coming from an honest place. She may not agree with it, may not like it, but she kind of has to accept it because that's how I felt. That's how I felt. That's how I feel. That's how I'm feeling. So just really understanding that part of it makes a big difference, because when you understand where the person came from, then you have that responsibility now to try to change your intake of that information or your dealings in that situation to try to, deviate from them having to go through that experience again to a certain degree. So I just really try to understand her. I'm never going to understand a woman. I just try to understand where she's coming from.
Never.
Especially not this one.
Yeah.
Listen,
I ain't that difficult.
Yes, you are.
She crazy as a bed bug with 2 ex-wives. I'm trying to tell you for sure. Believe it. Yeah. But, I love her to death. And, her and my children are worth me fighting and trying to get it right. You know what I mean? I just think that the time that we live in, a lot of things are acceptable. So sometimes you get caught in going with the crowd with certain things and your outlook is deviated towards what everybody else is doing. So just this I Take the podcast in itself is not what everybody is doing. There's not a lot of guys that's out here talking about how they were cheating and how they really feel and how they don't like this and that about their marriage, because sometimes the consequence is too extreme. But at the end of the day, I mean, if I can't speak my truth and live in my truth with the person I plan to be with the rest of my life, then it's like there's no point. You know what I mean? Right. So it's just like, we done been through a lot of stuff before. Nothing we've experienced is new. So it's like, all right, if we trying to fix the same problem, what are we going to do different? So this is part of doing something different. Okay. At this point, it's just being truthful, being honest, and then holding myself accountable. And that's the other thing. You know what I mean? It's like, I had friends that when I was doing my goofy stuff, that some people would try to hold me accountable and some people wasn't. And even though I appreciate the ones who did or didn't, it's not their responsibility. I mean, we could always say, I could tell you, if you out here cutting up, I could be like, look, you tripping. But at the end of the day, you supposed to hold yourself accountable. Right, it's really not. It's good if I try to help you, but it's not my responsibility. The only person responsible is yourself. Right. You're responsible for your choices and your actions. Exactly. Yeah, yeah. So, and then that's the other thing too. And the reality is that this is really experimental. There's no guarantee it's going to work. You know what I'm saying? And it's not to say I'm going to go out here and cheat again or she going to cheat or something going to happen. It could honestly just not work for us. We could honestly just be where we've been together for over 10 years. And though we had great times, it's just she's going in one direction, I'm going in another. But at least we know we leave it on. But not even that we tried, but we left on them good terms. Most times, like if people found out that we separated, which one of them cheated? Yeah, right. So, but if we do wind up separating, then it's just like we both know, and not that we really care what other people think, because you got to live in your own bubble when you married. But just the truth of the matter is that we don't got to have that stigma where people think that one of us cheated. We love each other. We gonna always love each other, but we just grew apart because that happens.
Yeah, and for me, like I was married, and like we. We just grew up, like how you just said, we grew up, right. We grew apart, like we loved each other, but wasn't in love no more, and, we got a beautiful daughter, and it was like trying to force it for that, and it was just, like you said, it wasn't, she wasn't happy. I wasn't happy, She was out cheating. I was out, cheating. And then it was just to the point where we was like, what are we doing? Yeah. And we sat down, and it wasn't like no F you or none of that. It was like, we going to go ahead and part ways. And, and now I'm engaged, to my best friend, Daima. And,
hey, Auntie.
Y'all, man, yeah, and that's the thing. Like, I'm in such a, a happy place right now. Right. Where, I got a beautiful, fiance. I ain't got to worry about her cheating. She ain't got to worry about me cheating. Like, if I go out, man, it's like, that's, that's my rock. When I go out, you see her. Right. When she go out, even though we got our, time where she go out, with her girlfriends and stuff, let her hair down. But I know that she's out just enjoying her night out with her friends, and vice versa. If I go out with the guys, she know that because it's it's not worth it. To mess up something good, right. On some tail that wind up will tell.
For sure.
Then she beat you up and be in jail.
Right. I think that with life, everything we all And I say for me, I say I'm a hard-headed learner. I tell people all the time, you could give me a book and show me how to do something through that book or train me how to do it. But until I physically start doing it, I'm not going to know how to do it myself. Like, I need to physically do it so I could get it. And that's the thing. We have been together for 10 years, but we haven't really gone through anything hard enough for us to really have to sit back and look at our actions to really see what am I doing wrong for things to keep going this way. So now it's just learning from those mistakes and trying to move forward. And you know, when I was going through my situation, a lot of most recent stuff, I was working with old people. And you know, they love to talk, and a lot of the reoccurring story was these widows, whether it be a male or female, the person he was married to had died, and they would tell me stories about how, oh, we've been together since we was 14, and they like 60 something. But a lot of time that story always hit something happened in the middle. Something happened in their 20s, something happened in their 30s, and the ones who wind up staying married until one of the other person died was the ones who overcame whatever that issue was.
Right.
And that's what strengthened their marriage. And a lot of them said it verbatim that once we got past that, our marriage was impenetrable after that. So it's like, that's my hope. That's my hope that, and we always say, and I know that my wife says, like, just like you said, you ruined everything for a piece of tell, but it's just like, that was the one time, or that was the situation that messed everything up. But once we got past it, it's nothing that could get past us now. You know what I mean? Because we didn't. I've hit my rock bottom. You know what I mean? From moving back to my mom's house and being away from my wife and kids and just changing my everyday day to day. You know what I mean? Like my regular daily schedule involves my family every single day, and to not be able to do that, I mean, I was like a fish out of water. So it was like, all right, is it really worth it to keep chasing girls, or is it worth it to fix what you messed up and go back to your everyday, day to day?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. So real quick, I know y'all posted the Philly Hott radio on y'all social media platforms. So I just want everybody to know if anybody want to call in to chime in on what we talking about. We talking about relationships. We talking about marriage, keeping these black families together. So the number is 484-477-6348. Once again, that's 484-477-6348. So if anybody, welcome all callers to call in and chime in on what we're talking about. Also, an old head, she had told me, she was like, when you in a relationship or married or whatever like that, and y'all have like disagreements, she said, find a place in your house where there's no distractions, no kids, no TV, nothing. And like they safe haven at their house was like the steps.
Okay.
They'll go to the steps, no TV, no kids, and they'll sit there and talk about what was the disconnection and what was the disagreement. Whereas though if y'all trying to talk in the bedroom and at the time you like Desperate Housewives on like Keisha did like that, or the kids, mom or dad, you know what I mean? You're not really focused. But go somewhere where there's no distraction, where y'all can just focus on each other, and before y'all leave y'all safe place, you know what I mean? Y'all ironed out y'all differences and y'all actually heard one another. You know what I mean? Y'all understood what each other said and was able, you know what I mean, to get through it without, keeping it going.
Well, we got something kind of like that.
Okay.
But I like the room and the space that we can go to. I think we can take on that
We can add that to it.
But we got something called the 72-hour rule. Where either one of us can ask for it. It can be an argument, disagreement, whatever. And you can ask for 72 hours. Meaning we can't talk about that issue. So it gives you time to process through what you want to say. Because you all know in the heat of an argument, you're not really listening to the other person. You waiting to say what you want to get out, and you never really heard the person. It gives you time it gives us time to process what happened, what wrongdoing you may have done, and what the other person may have done to bring you certain feelings, and then we discuss it. Either one of us could ask for it. And the rule, you can't talk about it. You can't slide the next day like you was mad at me about such and such. Nope.
Yeah.
You gotta give me my space. I gotta give you.
And then
your
I come to
space.
you when I'm ready. And I think that's so. One of the hardest parts. First, I have to acknowledge the fact that that is based off of a principle that we follow in Islam. That when you have a disagreement with your brother or sister in Islam, that you have 72 hours to rectify that affair.
Right.
And you know, it's like a way of keeping peace. You know what I'm saying? So one of the things that was hardest for us is that in the beginning, when we would argue and fuss and fight, she would run away, I would run away, and then we got into this thing where we was like, I literally start forcing her to stay there and deal with the problem, which I see now is a problem in itself. And like you said, in the heat of the moment, I'm not going to give you the best me. I'm not going to be listening, really comprehending what you're trying to tell me at that moment. I'm trying to win the argument. Right. And gentlemen, you never win an argument with your lady, ever.
Say it again. Say it again.
Because at the end of the day, my thing is, I realize, and I always try to remind myself that me winning a verbal battle with my wife does not help me at all. Even if I win, if I say some mean, cruel stuff to shut her down, or I prove my point and she get frustrated, then it's only going to carry the argument on longer, and then I'll ultimately lose.
Right.
The purpose in any exchange of verbiage of language is to understand what the other person is trying to say. So the biggest part for me was, all right, you know what? She's not ready to talk. Let me not force her. You know, and what it was though too was a lot of what I said. Kept putting my hand on the pot and getting burnt. So now I understand I don't have to put my hand on the stove to know that it's hot. If we argue and I force her to talk, so now this argument is 7 hours long. I done said the same thing 33 different languages. She done said the same thing 33 different languages. We still have come to no resolve. But then finally, 4 or 5 days later, when we calm down, we have the real conversation, and we finally get some type of peace and resolution to it. But then it took us a week worth of arguing and fussing and fighting, and you got to wake up the next morning with still an attitude. Whereas now, with our 72-hour rule, if she say, you know what, right now, no, give me my 72, I'll get back to you. All right, cool. Same thing for me. And at that point, you have the responsibility to say, all right, I think I'm ready now. Let me get my thoughts together so I can express this in a way. And that's the thing. If I'm screaming and yelling at her, she's not trying to hear my point. Right. If I'm talking to her like I'm talking now, it's a sexy boy. You know, then she may want to listen a little bit more. You know what I'm saying? And then I'm not interrupting her when she's talking. I'm really trying to listen and see, get that feedback from what I just said. Seeing how she took it, how she internalized it, you know what I mean? So that helps us. It's not always easy because sometimes we both get a little overzealous. Like, no, I want you to talk about it now. Right. But it's like, we married, where we going? You know what I mean? It's like, if we don't talk about it today, I mean, you got to see me tomorrow when you wake up right here. Hey. So, you know, it's just, again, both of us holding ourselves accountable to really stick to the rule and really try to get it together when it's like, hey, I don't want to talk right now. All right, well, listen, you know I got 72 hours, so I'm going to give you a little time right now, but if you don't get with me in 72, I'm going to cuss you out. All right.
Jordan, that's 72 hours. Do y'all still have sex or is no sex?
It all depends.
We still speak. It's just about that, whatever we was arguing about.
It all depends if my
Viagra
came that week or not.
Yeah. Like if she cook or you cook, still making your
I
plate.
still make them a plate, even though I don't be one, so I'm throwing the rice on it like
give
this.
me the little piece of chicken though.
Right, he don't get the
big piece of chicken.
But we still got communicating
She give me a
function.
Okay. She give me a drumstick. Okay. Because she mad at me or whatever.
Or she give you the wing with the hair on it, with the lace front on it. You getting a hairy wing today? All right, we're gonna take a quick commercial break. You know what I mean? So I want everybody to stay tuned in, you know what I mean, to the Has Green and the T Walla Walla show with our special guest tonight, this evening, Sherelle and my man James. We'll be right back. Yo, welcome back, y'all, to the Hez Green and T Walla Walla show. You know what I mean? I got to give a shout out to my man Hez. He couldn't be here tonight because, once again, he on the road doing a funny, bringing them jokes. Oh, and big up to last week. We had two shows, one at Mill Creek Tavern that we told y'all about, then one down at 16th and Dolphin. Both shows was a success. Plus, my man Hez got me my first payday of a comedy show. I made $100.
You're a real comedian.
I'm
now.
a real comedian there. Yeah, $100. They gonna tell me to put it in a frame. No, I need
to spend that.
Yeah, man. They told me like, yo, put it in the frame. I'm like, no, I need that couple dollars. I gotta eat, gas in my car, lunch or whatever. But real quick, December the 28th at where we at? We doing a fish fry at Lou and Chews from 4 to 9 on December the 28th. I got tickets. Anybody want? I got some free tickets for anybody that want to call in. Once again, the number 484-477-6348. So anybody want to call in? Got some free fish fry tickets for y'all. I gotta find this too. I gotta plug this too. Shout out to the Untouchables. We got something big coming up on the 22nd. Go right here. So we got the Philly Dance Day, the show of all shows, Philly Dance Awards. So that day they honoring the Untouchables and giving us a award for tearing up the stages all over the hearts of Philadelphia. So I want to shout out my man Hez Green. I want to shout out my man Brady Hill. I want to shout out my man Rodney Hill and my man Alexander Bentley, all original members of the Untouchables. So we're going to be in the building on the 22nd. It's going to be at 2600 North 5th Street. That's where it's at. Tickets is $20. Dancers get in free. Good. And it starts at 4 p.m. So if anybody can make it there to see us get our award, that'd be greatly appreciated. And who knows? We might lace up the sneaks and Zeke might throw me up in a flip or something. You never know. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna need some Ben Gay or something afterwards, but these bones is old, 40. Yeah, I'm in the 40s now. But just want to plug that real quick. So stay tuned for some more comedy shows that me and Hez Green got going on. So once again, my special guest I have, my lovely niece Sherelle, her husband James. They got their podcast, I Take Thee, where they do like marriage, talk about marriage to keep the black couples together. For the sake of not just for the kids, but for each other. One thing is hard to want to be married on a relationship with somebody and you're doing it for the kids, but y'all can't stand each other. Some people do it for financial reasons, because when you splitting them bills 2 ways, it's a little easier. Right. But when you're doing it all to yourself, it's a little hard. But but I'm glad that, they made it through the storm.
Making it.
Weathering it.
We weathering it, but listen. Y'all,
got my raincoat on.
Yeah. Got the umbrella, Sometimes the wind blow it when you get a little wet. Sometimes, get an umbrella and a poncho.
For sure. I got my Columbia on.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Oh, you old school with it. Yeah. So, talk to me, y'all. I hear y'all trying to do going to the direction of being marriage counselors. Talk to me a little bit, to the people a little bit about that.
I think so. When the whole idea came about, I had the conversation with Sherelle and I said, are we just doing this to kind of get over our issues? Or is it just going to be something therapeutic with us? What's the end game with it? Because again, we older, we have a family. We do need an outlet, but then at the end of the day, it's about bringing something sustainable to the family and something sustainable to the table. So it's just where we want to go. Both of us, have been social workers for a long time. I've been out of college almost 20 years, and I've kind of split it between teaching and social work. And, it's just I don't want to stop helping people. I don't want to stop helping children and families, but both of those genres of of work, I think I'm kind of burnt out on. So it's just trying to find a new direction for me, something that I'm really involved in, something that I really love and enjoy doing. And at this point, it's just saving my marriage is my only everyday day to day. So why not? Once I figure it out, why not try to help other people and give other people some tips that we learned along the way? And I think that a lot of people can just relate with one of the things that Sherelle said before. I think it's like when I was going through my stuff, and even though, we both on two sides of the table was experiencing the same situation differently. One thing that gave me a little bit of ease was once I start talking to certain people and they were going through similar situations. Right. I just think that idea of relatability, when you're going through a struggle, when my mom passed away, I wasn't trying to hear anything from people who still had their parents. Right. And it may sound corny or immature or whatever, but in all honesty, what can you say to me? Because most of the people who still had their parents were like, you know what, I don't know what I could say to you because, I don't know what to say if I lost my mom. You don't until you lose your mom. Right. So it's the same thing with marriage, and I'm at a point in my life where certain serious things that I'm going through, I want people, if you've given me information, I want you to be able to experience it. So when we were going to therapy and trying to get help from outside entities, no offense to anybody, it just wasn't a lot of people that was like us. Or the people that was like us, when I mean in color and background, those were the people that really made impacts and strides on our therapy process. And again, it's no offense to anybody, but anybody who's been a counselor, anybody who's a counselor or therapist know that connection is what helps the person. If I can't relate to you and we don't have that connection, then you can't assist me through my journey. So us being able to say, we're helping people stay married. You could go on YouTube, you could go on Spreaker.com, you could go on Spotify, listen to our podcast from episode 1 and see our journey. So I'm not just talking it, I'm living it. Right. You know what I'm saying? I can't tell you how to keep your wife if I'm single. You know what I mean? I can't tell you about your kids if I ain't never had none. I can, but I'm not gonna be credible to you. You're not gonna want to listen to me and understand. Not that I won't have good points, but it just won't sink in because you're just not accepting of it on that level. And again, that's no offense to anybody else, but that's just us. I think the genuineness and what we're going through and experiencing is what's drawing people to us. And of course, it's going to be a journey. It's not like we're going to be marriage counselors next week. But I think that for our true fans and friends and listeners who have been with us from the first episode and the promo, when we get to episode 300, and we do finally have, our counseling firm where we are helping families stay together, they can see the progress, and then that right there is our check. You can fact check us on that,
Right. All right, Sherelle, you want to chime in on that?
Yeah, he like to talk.
Right.
I've always wanted to have my own practice.
Okay.
I'm actually a social worker.
We talking about practice? Practice?
Oh my God. I am a social worker. I'm a licensed social worker through the state. I do therapy sessions already, but a lot of times my focus was on children and children who have been in the system. And like James said, kind of worn out from that a little bit, but I wanted to expand, and I didn't really know which way I wanted to go. And then the idea fell in our lap, about still helping families, but just in this aspect of relationships. And I probably still be working with kids who are dealing with their parents separated. And like you said, families who keep saying they want to stay together just because of the kids, you got to they still affected by it, y'all relationship, and how y'all still interacting with. They see it and know it, and just going along with it too, but it's affecting them too. So I thought it would be great to, focus on families and their relationship issues, and then I can bring my experience plus my educational background to it, that good state license.
Right.
Yeah,
that's good stuff. Now, when y'all was going, the journey to get where y'all at, a lot of times when y'all was bickering or arguing, was y'all doing it in front of the kids? Did the kids see it and get affected by it?
Some situations was just inevitable.
Just like sometimes it just exploded at one moment. It was just like it had to happen, and then the kids was there, and they saw, and they would ask like, "You fighting with my dad?
What's going on?
What's going on?" And even to the point where at one point James was out the house, they was asking questions, and it was kind of like we was even trying to do something where he came in the morning, so it wouldn't seem
Right.
like he was
No,
going.
we wasn't doing it. I was doing it, but they still knew.
They still knew.
They
Right.
still knew, and a lot of stuff they didn't say, and I think we mentioned it on one of the episodes. We went to a parent-teacher conference, and Dries had this project where he was talking about a moment where he was upset. And It
Yeah.
was like my mom and dad was arguing. You know what I'm saying? And he didn't outwork just come to me like, why y'all argue all the time or have a conversation about us arguing, but that's something that he witnessed, and it was something that made him sad. So
Right.
just kind of, it's hard because, like I said, now we have something like the 72-hour rule where she could be ready to, no, we got to deal with it now. And I'm like, all right, listen, the kids are right here. Everything, we just need to chill. Let's give it some time, and then we come back.
Come back to it, yeah.
Come back to it. But, I mean, sometimes it's inevitable, especially like you said, when if people were in that mindset, well, I'm only here for the kids, the littlest thing is going to tick you off. So then now that you could do something normally that may just make me upset or just feel, you know what, and I could walk away from it, but I'm already pissed. So now I'm snapping, and it's like that might be that straw, and then it's like the kids is here. It's like, all right, go to your room, but they still here when your voices get loud and all that. So,
They
again,
listening from the door and stuff like that.
and we had to do that too. They had to go to therapy and talk to somebody and and try to express themselves and what was going on too. My older son, or our older son, he's 15. I had to have conversations with him because he's a little bit older than the younger ones. I had to tell him like, this, that, and the third or whatever. And even with just coming back home, me and him had to have that conversation too, because it's like, that's my wife's stepson. That's my blood son. But I had to let him know, this is still your mom. She still love you. She still love me. We went through a tough time, so it shouldn't be no resentment. You still love her too. You just upset, but you're upset for the wrong reason. It's my fault.
Right,
You know what I'm
right,
saying?
yeah.
You
But
can't
he
be
was
mad at
riding for
her.
his dad. Like,
Right,
He's supposed to. That's my boy Udi. Yeah, I mean, shout out, man.
Yeah.
But that's what
Shout
he's supposed to do. You gotta, ride for your pop. But I had to be adult enough to be like, look, man, turn the ride off because I was wrong.
Right.
You can't be mad at her when I know it was my fault. You know what I mean? For the situations that was going on at the time. So. It is a process, and like Sherelle said, I think that that's what the goal is: trying to talk to everybody that's involved, even the families. That's the one big part with us working on ourselves that we still are kind of tiptoeing over that bridge is the family part. Once you have that big blow up and that separation, and then you come back, how do you relink certain connections that may have been broken and stuff like that? And being honest. Some connections can never be reconnected. You know what I'm saying? So I know, though I love all of my in-laws, some of them I can't reconnect with the same way I used to.
So, right, yeah.
And there's no disrespect to them. It's just for the betterment of peace.
Right, gotcha.
To not be able to connect that way. You know what I'm saying? Reconnect that way. But I don't hold no animosity towards anybody. I love my family and we all family. You know what I'm saying? It's just, and that's not even just her family, even my family members, when I went through my situations, it's people that I had in my corner when I was doing dumb shit, but then when I was trying to turn my life around, they was nowhere to be found.
Right.
I still love them too, but I just can't
distance
vibe with them on
yourself.
that. I can't
Right.
vibe with them on that side. I gotta love them from a distance. So
Yeah, and that's how it would be when you're in a relationship or when you're in a marriage and y'all have like that disagreement or argument. And like my mom, she told me this like years ago. She was like, only 3 people should be in y'all business. You know what I mean? You, you, your wife, and God. You know what I mean? That's it. Because when you bring other family members, girlfriends, and stuff like that into y'all disagreement, then say hypothetically like, y'all have a disagreement, then your mom, now, but she gonna ride with you, your mom gonna ride with you, and hypothetically like Thanksgiving, your mom made his plate. Oh my God, baby, yeah, sit right here. Your dad talking about, sitting daddy, in the big chair. Then y'all have a disagreement, and you tell your family about it. Now when he come over for Christmas,
They
ain't rocking with you. Hey, mom, I ain't your damn mom.
Right.
Well, you know what I'm saying? And that's the disconnection. And now, then that's when the lying starts. Because it's like, you felt the ill. So now come the next event, I ain't going over there. They mistreated me. I'm not going over there. But it's your family. But you gonna go, and then they gonna be phony. You know, hey, where James at? Oh, he ain't feeling good. James cool. He's just sitting home. He ain't trying to come and deal with the bullshit. So he gonna, you know what I mean? He gonna sit back. But where y'all done minute y'all relationship, everything Gucci, y'all sleeping comfortable at night, snoring good. But they the ones sitting plopped up on a pillow, mad. For what? At the end of the day, y'all the ones that gotta live with each other and see each other day to day. I get it. I might see y'all when I'm dropping the kids off or whatever case. Once in a blue, we having something. But for the most part, 365 days, it's y'all two and the kids.
Right.
That's the core right there. And that's the one thing. You know what I mean? A lot of relationships and marriages, y'all gotta be there for each other and not for the outsiders.
Right.
Because when you bring so many outsiders in, that's the cancer. And that deteriorates stuff because you got this person in your ear. Some might be giving you good advice, some giving you bad advice.
Exactly.
But at the same time, they pulling you different ways and
Instead of towards your
to
partner.
your partner,
Pulling
right?
you away
So
from your
that's
partner.
the key thing is having disagreements. You know, keeping everything. You know what I'm saying, in house. And I think that'll be. You know what I mean.
And I think
We
that's
talked about
that's the
that.
biggest. I think that's the biggest jewel with everything that transpired with us over the summer was keeping it between us, not worrying about what other people think about what we agree upon. If I say something and she agree with it, she say something and I agree with it. It don't matter what other people think.
Exactly.
Letting other people get involved and having to say so on something that's none of their business, it just kind of took us to a place we didn't need to go. And in certain time, like I say, there's certain situations we're going to get over. Things are better. I still speak to you, even though you and my father-in-law put me in the trunk. But it's cool though.
Yeah, you
I
had
know-
to go on.
listen,
You had
it's
to
how
go
the
on the
game
trunk.
goes sometimes. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? But it's all right though. I'm still here. Luckily, I can swim. You know what I mean? But you
And
gotta
it-
make it through those
relationships just
situations.
become crowded. That's how I look at it. When you start, and it's hard because it's like you want that outlet and you
Somebody
want
to vent to. You looking for
want
somebody to
like,
vent
this
to.
nigga is
Right.
on my last. Like you want to have that person to vent to, and then it's just like the relationship be starting to become crowded because now this person has to say so, another person. So it ain't just me and James anymore. It's me, James, and what everybody else is saying
Yup.
around us.
Shay, Shay, Tay,
Right,
Tay,
and it
all
becomes
these people.
very crowded, and then it's no longer about me and you. Then it's trying to please the other parties too.
Yup.
To say, it's trying to please him and then please the other parties, and then it's a whole bunch of confusion. And in an event like you saying, you want to still vent. That's where that 72-hour come in. We
Right.
fight and we do this. Now I can come back to you and say what I
When
really
I'm
needed to
calm.
say.
Right,
And then
yeah.
I can vent, and then we didn't bring nobody else,
Else in it. Exactly.
Or you could talk to your Lyft driver. I
No.
drive for Lyft, and a lot of people get in the car, and I'll be like, "Hey, how's your night going?" So yeah, my boyfriend left me, and I'll be like, "Oh, calm down, play out this." I ain't really a counselor yet. I gotta charge you about a minute.
Right.
Nah, I'm joking, but no, seriously, everything my wife said is true. That's, I think, one of the biggest jewels that we did learn that is, it's team us at the end of the day. It's always us over them. And as long as, we together, it got to be about what we agree upon. Everybody don't have to agree that my wife took me back after cheating.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's fine. You know what I mean?
And that's because that's the thing. A lot of people, they put their input in it, but everybody is their own individual, and everybody has they breaking point.
Right.
They got their breaking point where enough is enough. You know what I mean? So where he could cheat and you could take him back, somebody else, they won't. You know what I mean? They
But
won't.
the
they
twist
won't
of
do
it
it.
be most of the people that's going to give you the input 9 times out of 10 either did with the I'm going to give you the realest information that somebody said to me when I got through my situation. Family member told me, "You put your hands on her?" I say, "Hell no. I ain't raised that way." I mean, we had disagreements. It might have been, I grabbed her to bring her back to me or something. I never punched her, nothing. I don't do that. So, well, listen, I'm going to tell you 2 things. If you want to cheat, if you want to be a cheater, cheat better. If you're not good at cheating, then stop fucking cheating, dude.
Facts.
We grown up. At the end of the day, I think as a man, is a whole lot of stuff that we got to wake up and one day you just not going to do anymore.
Right.
You know what I mean? And you got to be real. And I think that advice was probably the best advice. If I really plan on being the chief for the rest of my life, I got to step my game up. And it can sound corny and petty, but if that's what I choose to do, then that's the route I need to take. I don't want to cheat. I really don't want to just be out here and be this cheating ass dude. So it's like, at this point, I got to grow up, have some self-control, and figure out how to keep things going good in my relationship.
Right.
And that was this test. That was this learning piece right here. Now, this person could have sat up here and preached to me about all of this stuff, and then I would have sat there and scratched my head like, well, you do the same thing.
Right.
A lot of the people who's going to preach to you, oh, girl, don't take them back. They baby father upstairs, and he done cheated 19 times.
I was about to say that. They
He
live
done had a whole baby
they got the
on him.
whole, they
And
telling you
that's-
all this
and
stuff.
And this is all, it's hypothetical. I'm not talking about nobody specific, but I'm just talking in general. It's been people who to me, man, oh, man, listen, leave, get yourself together, go get your apartment, go out here, there's all these chicks out here, dog, you a good dude, you can have any woman in the world. And I'm like, well, you miserable, you still with your wife, man, I ain't going nowhere, I'm gonna be here for her and these kids forever.
Right.
How you telling me to leave?
Right, yeah.
They trying to live their dream through you.
Exactly.
Yeah,
you
right.
telling me because you don't got your situation together to go do that. But my goofy behind, I did it. I left, I moved out and went back down North Philly and thought I was living the Miller High
You
life.
moved
and-
out?
No, when I moved out. I got thrown out a couple times throughout this process. I did, but I got kicked out and came back, but then I left. No, actually, she tried to kick me out, and then I act like I was going to work, and I came and grabbed all my stuff and dipped. Because you weren't going to put me out no more. You weren't going to throw my good sneakers out in the front lawn, not again.
Yeah.
But again, but even with that situation, I did it. It was self-preservation, but I felt like a fool sneaking in my own damn house and moving out while she was at work. Like, but
Right.
that was the route. And honestly, that was the easiest route because if I would have came home from work and tried to take my stuff, it would have been worse. My kids seeing me leaving with my things. Her, even though she wanted me out, me leaving, she would have made me stay. You ain't going to just leave because I was leaving on my own. If I would have tried to leave on my own, it would have been different. She wanted to throw me out.
I wanted to throw them clothes down the step.
Yeah, she wanted to do the Biggie video. It wasn't going down there.
Yeah. She want the Yeezys and all that stuff thrown everywhere.
No, I had to hit the dark winged duck on her.
So I know y'all on y'all social media. Anybody giving you any shout outs? Y'all want to shout out to anybody that's giving y'all any shout outs?
We got family on here telling us team us absolutely. That's what people think, period, for sure.
Yeah.
As one of my students say all the time, period, poo. Little girl can't barely talk. She say, period, poo. But listen, it is what it is. Again, this is all a learning piece, man. And a lot of people who know me, I may seem like I know a lot. I have been through a lot, so I learned a lot of stuff the hard way. And for whatever reason, I thought this was going to be different. I really thought I was going to be able to figure this out and finesse this without asking for help, without needing help. And I need help. You know, I'm not good. I wasn't doing a great job. You know what I'm saying? I had to figure out how to be better. I put my all into almost everything I do, and that's why coming back was important because I needed to give my all. And this is real, and I said this to her many times. Me coming back now, if I cross all my T's and dot all my I's and I do every single thing that I'm supposed to do and it don't work out, I could really walk away with my head held high knowing that I tried my best.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying? And it's not about who's right or wrong, but if I do everything and it don't work out, it's her fault. But I'm just saying, you know what I mean? Like, I'm joking, but in seriousness, it's like being able to give that honest effort. And we both had to come to that agreement. We tried. We act like we was going to try. Things calmed down and we felt like we ain't need to keep trying no more. It's not about the trying. I know she could try. I know she could change. I know I could change. I know I could try, but it's that longevity. Can you keep it up? Can you be consistent with that change and every day be better? Every day want all the things that you want it for your wife first.
Right.
If I want a nice car, no, I'm going to get my wife the nice car first. I'm going to help her with the nice car first.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then I'm going to have the hoop in. The funny part is it's been like that most of her relationship. Her car always been nicer than mine. You know, and I mean, it is what it is, though. At the end of the day, you know, when she go to work, I drop her off, then I ride around in it anyway. But I'm just saying, you know, you got to make sure that you take care of her. And I told her, if every day I'm making sure that she got what she needs and she's happy, and every day she's making sure I got what I need to make sure I'm happy,
We both
we
happy.
both happy.
Yeah.
You don't got to sit there and worry about, well, damn, no, we both happy. We both happy. So it's just like that constant commitment of realizing that marriage is a special language for selflessness. Selfless, not selfish. So it can't. Anytime you get into an argument and it's I, you already wrong.
Right.
You know what I mean? I gotta make sure that she cool. She gotta make sure I'm cool, and then we both be cool together.
And that's me. I look at y'all. Yeah, I mean, I also look at LaRonda and Shock, and just other people that's married, and I'm about to take that that step and marry my best friend. But I just want that, you know what I'm saying? I want that long, I want that longevity.
Right.
You know what I mean? I want that longevity, not that, that breaking up. And, you know what I mean? I just want to, us take care of each other, you know what I mean? Make sure, focus on, like, her needs. She focus on mine, fit, and I don't like to do, like, people say, like, 50-50.
Right.
I like to do 100-100. You know what I mean? That's my thing, because if I'm giving you 50%, you giving me 50%, I still got 50% that I could do some other shit. I could do some, you know what I mean? So I need to give you my whole 100, you know what I mean, all the time. That way, nobody can't get nothing. You got it all.
Yeah.
And vice versa, I got it all.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And that's the way I want to, continue to live and continue, you know what I mean, to be happy and just, focus on growing old.
For sure.
You know what I mean? Growing, that rocket chair and, you know what I mean?
She the only one I trust me with when I'm in diapers.
Right.
That's how you looking at it.
You got to listen. You got to think about it, because at some point you're going to be old and in diapers, man. And the person that you married to, the person that you engaged to now, do you trust that when you in diapers that Daima going to change your ass?
I don't know, Daima.
See?
Because only reason why, because she, I got messed up feet, and she hate to look at my feet. So if I got a shitty butt, you know what I mean? It's a good chance she gonna leave some crumbs on there. I'm gonna have a rash though. She gonna get me, but I'm gonna be.
It's gonna be the last.
I'm gonna be a rashy ass old head.
You should not be married to nobody that you're not willing to do almost anything for. And I'm about to put on the spot. She probably about to get red as her sweater. Listen, let me tell you something.
I sweater pink. You gotta stop smoking.
Right.
Well, pink is like blushing.
Okay.
All right.
Gotcha.
All right. Go ahead.
What you about to say?
Educated brother from the bank. Go ahead.
So now, we get a couple of dollars. We do okay.
Mm-hmm.
She go to the wax place, Naked Peach, get cleaned up.
Okay.
For $200, Alex, who was cleaning you up before you was going to Naked Peach?
Oh God, he was.
I was down, man. I was the best barber in the city. But that's what I'm saying. I said that to a couple of my friends or whatever. I was like, you don't do that for you? They was like, nigga, no. Well, why not? That's my lady. I can't complain about it not being cleaned up down there if I ain't willing to go down there and clean it up.
Yeah.
But it may not be that specifically, but I'm just saying in terms of understanding the lengths you got to go through to keep your person happy.
Okay.
And I think that everybody in the world has a person, and the funny part, people then turn me into this marriage guru. So I guess they missed the fact that I fucked up in the first part. Act 2, I'm doing better.
Right.
But they ask me for advice all the time. And to piggyback off of what you said real quick when you was talking about the 50-50 and the giving a whole 100 so it's nothing left. I understand that, and I get it. Makes a lot of sense. But for us, I still look at the 100% because together we're a unit. Right? So together we forming that 100. I think the biggest problem is that, and we talked about it on the podcast, is that, these expectations. You expect people to be a certain way. Once you get married, if you say, I expected Daima to be different, why? She's still Daima. She's going to be her. And what she's giving you in the beginning, honestly, what you're going to get in the end.
Pretty much.
So if you're getting the good stuff in the beginning, you're going to get it in the end. If she on some shit right now, honestly, she probably going to be on some shit when she get married. Not to say she is. But it's like, you got to love people for where they at. If we get to the 100, if I'm 70% and she 30%, long as we got a bean, we good. You understand what I'm saying? And I can't demean her because she giving 30. I might be the type of person where I'm able to give 70. I'm honestly may not be able to give a whole 100, but she gives me that 30% to make us equal because we're a team, we're a family.
Right.
As long as the family at 100, it don't matter if it's 50-50, 45-65, however you break the numbers down, 70-30. If we reach 100 for us and our children, we good. And I think that's where we really got to understand. I do a lot of stuff, and it's not to say that she's not capable of doing the stuff that she does. I just do it. She don't got to. She has that luxury to not have to do certain things, and I have the luxury of not. I don't cook. I got a couple dishes, but my baby burn. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I don't have to clean to cook all the time because I have somebody that likes to cook for a family. And we look, you see the Pinky, she cooked that, lamb chops the other day. You know what I mean? Homemade cranberry sauce from scratch. She grew the cranberries herself in the garden. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, everybody not living like that. But again, that's the whole thing. I don't go to the supermarket no more, but when she come back, I put the food up. That's my job. That's our part. So we got to respect each other's roles.
Yeah, and that's like the one thing, like I said, like with me and Daima, we came so far, but you know what I mean, we're best friends. Like she'll give me the shirt off, like any, you know what I mean, anything I ask for, she'll do, and she's a 100% rider. That's her. You know what I mean? You know, she love my daughter. I love her son. You know what I mean? It's so crazy, like the bond and the relationship we got, and like when me and her got back together, it was just like once she was like, yeah, we in a committed relationship, and I think it was like September maybe of last when she was like, yeah, we back together, and I was like, I'm gonna marry her. Like I already knew, like and like it was less than about 4 or 5 months later. I'm proposing, like, nope, this time you ain't getting away. You ain't getting away, babe. I'm gonna I'll put the ring on it, and you know what I mean. And like I said, we have our our times and stuff like that, cause she like you, she light skin. Oh. You know what I mean? Y'all light skinned women is vicious, man. Y'all mouth is vicious.
Oh.
You know what I mean? And she vicious, but like I mean, it don't be nothing deep. We iron our situation out, and we back. We always good. So I just want to real quick give a few more shout outs. What was saying? December the 22nd, Philly Dance Day. The show of all shows is the Philly Dance Award. They honoring the Philly's own untouchables. Shout out to, like I said, my man Rodney Hill, Brady Hill, JJ, my man Zeke, a.k.a. Hez Green, and, myself, T Walla Walla, you know what I mean? We're going to be in the building. We might bless y'all with a little old school dance routine. Then we got December the 28th at Lou and Choose. We got a fish fry from 4 to 9. That's going to be popping. Got tickets, inbox me on my social media platforms. Anybody want tickets, hit me up. Also, February the 1st, we doing another comedy show back at Chuck's Alibi. We doing another comedy show there on February the 1st. This one going to be early. It starts at 3. Comedy show going to start at 6, from 6 to 7. And then we got the old school rapper Schoolie D is going to perform. So we got, a couple things to finish this year out. But we got a lot of stuff coming up next year. And then I want to also thank, my niece Sherelle, her husband James for coming up, talking to us about the relationships and marriage and how to stay together and get through different situations. And also want to, they going to join the Philly Hot Radio team. Hey. So they going to, so they about to join the Philly Hot Radio team. And so coming soon, y'all see on their social media platform on the days and times where they going to air. I take the podcast marriage. You know what I mean? Where y'all gonna see the visual. So that's what we doing. You know what I mean? We doing big things.
Big things in 2020.
In 2020, man, big things. So look forward to all the stuff that's coming up. And any shout outs y'all want to get anybody before we
I just want to shout out my uncle for having us.
For sure.
We appreciate you having us on
Funniest
the show.
comedian in Philly.
That's
I'm trying, man.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I just want everybody to right now I'm on my live. I take the I_take_the THEE underscore J. That's my Instagram. Mommy of Hema. That's my wife's Instagram. You can follow either one of the pages or the I Take the podcast underscore in between each word podcast. We're on Spreaker.com, Google Podcasts,
Apple
iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts. We everywhere. We about to be on YouTube now. We are officially joining the Philly Hot Radio family. So in 2020, you're going to start seeing the visuals with the audio. Episode 10. Episode 10, I'm telling y'all now, it is not going to be this Friday. It's going to be next Friday. We're going to end 2019 off with the 10th episode. I want to thank all of the fans, all the loyal listeners, all the people that's been cursing us out, asking us for the new episodes. We've been kind of holding it back because we got some big things coming. Like I said, we come in visual in 2020 for episode 11. But episode 10 going to be nice. It might be really long for y'all, so just, tune in. Episode 10 next week, next Friday. I Take the podcast, the report card. We just kind of just talk about everything that we've been going through and everything. So, again, thanks a lot. Thanks to my uncle for having us.
Anytime. So we're going to do some stuff where we're going to merge shows.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We're going to do some big stuff. So that's the show, y'all. You know what I mean? Thanks for everybody, tuning in to us, listening to us. The T Walla Walla's in the building, but this is the Hez Green and the T Walla Walla Show, Philly Hot Radio. Till next week, you know what I mean? Hug your family, hug them kids, stay safe, stay warm, stay blessed.